All right, hello everybody, and welcome to part 2 of episode 3 of Earth's Mightiest Comics. We're continuing right where we left off. I'm not going to do a super big intro because there was that last for part 1.
Yep.
So go listen to part 1 if you haven't already, if you want to. If not, that's fine too.
So we're kicking right off with the second part of Hulk number 4.
Yes, called Mongu, the Gladiator from Outer Space.
Gladiator from Outer Space.
So the story starts, there's this alien named Mongu. So he lands on Earth. Bruce and Rick see it on the TV.
Mongu calls for a champion.
Right.
Otherwise he'll take over the world.
Pretty much. So Bruce changes into the Hulk, because he's Professor Hulk now.
Yep.
And he charters a jet. I don't know about that. And he somehow knows how to fly the jet as well.
Well, if he's Professor Hulk, I'm assuming Bruce
is a scientist. He's not a pilot.
He could learn.
He's not a pilot, man.
He could figure
you hate
it
the
out.
Hulk. Don't try to defend an issue you hate. Okay, so they fly to meet Mongu in the Grand Canyon.
Is that where it is?
That's where, yep. He says, "I'm gonna go be in the Grand Canyon." That's where the battle takes. It doesn't really look like it, but that's where it is.
Bro, I straight up thought that he was in a desert.
Yeah, I mean, the Grand Canyon is in the desert, so that's not wrong. Have you ever been to Arizona, dude? That place is just nothing but desert.
I've been to the Grand Canyon before.
I have as well, and it's nothing but desert.
I straight up, I don't know, maybe I was like asleep the entire time, I guess?
Okay. So once they get there, they realize that the entire thing was a fake, and it turns out that Mongu is a communist disguised as an alien.
Oh my god.
I love it. I love it.
I hate it. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. This is awful.
No. It's so good, though, because Stan... No. Hear me out. Because everything else, Stan must have known. He's like, everything we've done so far has been aliens or communists. Let's just troll everybody and do both at the same time. It's amazing. It's so silly and stupid and dumb that it's just so fucking hilarious.
I hated it for this reason. I was like, I liked Mongo. I liked the maybe he would have had like a good challenger for Hulk. Nope, some freaking random communist.
Yeah.
Super suit thing.
Yeah.
It's just like a robotics. It's not even a super suit. It's just like a disguise. I freaking hated the idea of it. So dumb. All of a sudden, commies are surrounding Hulk.
Yep.
And they think they can take him on. Like, what the no. Bullets don't affect this man. Like,
Yep. Yeah. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So they say their plan is to take him back to Russia. Hulk calls it Vodka Land, which is fucking hilarious. Like. Come on, man.
I didn't notice
this is
that.
so good.
I didn't notice he called it Vodka Land. I did not even notice that.
So they're like, so we're going to take you back to Russia and study you so they can make an army of Hulks. This is the exact same plot as Hulk number 1.
Yeah.
So that's dumb, but whatever.
So dumb.
So Hulk takes them out. There's a cool scene here. Someone throws a grenade at him, and he just catches it and lets it explode in his hand.
And it does nothing.
That is awesome.
And
that's super cool.
They thought a gun would affect this man.
So, yeah, but anyways, there's another commie in the ship who fires a sound gun, and that does hurt the Hulk. That does
affect the Hulk, always has.
Right, because I think it's like the rays are not perceptible, the sound is not perceptible to human ears, but it is to him.
Yeah, it's really loud, basically.
Right, so he's like, alright, whatever, joke's on you. He burrows
underground and comes up underneath the sound ship thing, and he pulls the dude out. Does he pull him back into the ground, or...?
I don't know. He takes out the ship, and then he
takes out the ship,
but the rest of the communists have captured Rick, and they're like, we'll kill him if you try anything. A helicopter swoops in, but like Hulk throws some rubble at it and just takes it out.
Yeah.
And then the communists are like, okay, we can't handle it. We can't handle this. We give up. Take Rick. Just whatever. So Hulk takes all of their belts off, and... You didn't see that?
What?
Yeah. He takes all of their belts off and he ties them together with their own belts. And then he whips them around and he jumps off with all of them tied to him.
Is that what that was? I thought he just found rope somewhere.
No, it says he took all their belts off and he tied them around with using the belts.
Holy crap.
And so he ties them to their own helicopter and sends them off, and then he leaves.
Back to Russia.
Right. So the authorities arrive, and they're like, the Hulk set it up so he could be considered a hero.
Yeah.
And it was all fake. And then Hulk changes back to Banner, and that's the end.
And the story
This is so good, man. It's okay. It's really bad, but it's so funny. It is so hilarious. I wanted to give this 5 stars.
What the frick is what?
I didn't give it 5 stars. I gave it 2. I wanted to give it more, and I knew I should give it a 1.
Oh my god.
But it's so funny, man. I had to give it 2.
Ugh. Dude, like, everything about this was dumb for me. Like, the commies coming out of the suit. No. Stupid. Though, the fact that they found a way to, like, affect the Hulk was... I gave him props for it.
Mm-hmm.
With the sound and whatever.
Right.
But the fact that the dude just jumps out is like, I'm a communist, actually, and they surround him with guns, and they think they're gonna do something to him, just, like, blows my mind. It just... Oh my gosh. I can't.
So, what did you give this?
1.5, honestly.
Okay.
I give it 1.5. Not too off from yours.
Yeah. I almost actually, like, legitimately gave it 3, but I was like, I know it's not good. I thought it was so funny.
Awful. Alright, well,
All right,
anyway,
moving
on to the next one.
One of the 2 full-length ones we have today, Fantastic Four number 8, Prisoners of the Puppet Master.
The Puppet Master. This one was...
Were you familiar with the Puppet Master before this comic? He's a pretty common book.
This was an okay read for me.
Yeah. So we start out, and the Fantastic Four are trying to keep Ben out of Marine's lab.
Yes. For me, this beginning part Ben just seems like a little baby throwing a tantrum 24/7.
That seems to be your general consensus about him all the time.
But it's just, he has, like, literal no patience.
Yeah.
Like, he can only listen to himself ever, and it's just
he comes
dumbest
in,
stuff.
He comes in and he's basically like, hey, why aren't you letting me in? You guys all hate me. He, like, gets in a fight with Johnny, and then he just quits the Fantastic Four.
So freaking baby tantrum.
So Sue follows him out invisibly.
And tries to get him to come back.
Right.
By talking to him and stuff. Some dudes see Ben talking to himself, and they're like, well, what's up with you? You crazy?
Yeah.
So Sue kicks one of the dudes, and the other dude's like, whoa, he got sent flying.
Yeah.
So Ben ties him up in a lamp, and is like, yeah, you can stay here, otherwise you'll go flying too.
So at that moment, they turn around, they see a man climbing up a bridge.
Yeah.
Looks like he's about to commit suicide.
Yep.
Sue is like, we can't handle this right now, like, we're too far away.
So she shoots the fantastic flare gun,
right,
or whatever the frick, and Reed and Johnny are like, whoa. So Reed tries stretching his arm over to him, he's like, it's too far, I can't. So Johnny goes out there, tries to save him. Before he even saves him, it pans to the Puppet Master, and it shows that he is actually in control of this dude on the bridge.
Right. And Johnny notices that. He's like, this guy looks like he's in a trance.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's really happening, but...
Yeah, so right before the Puppet Master is about to, like, flick him off or whatever, the bridge, Johnny saves him, and before the Puppet Master can touch the doll, it burns him. And he's like, this must be the work of the Human Torch.
So, at that moment, the Puppet Master's stepdaughter, Alicia Masters, comes in.
Yep.
This is, for those of you who are not familiar, she's not yet, but she is the blind girlfriend of Ben.
Yeah.
If you've seen the Fantastic Four movies, she is in them. The first 2.
Yeah.
Not very much. I don't really remember anything about it.
No, she's not really in it a lot.
So, anyway, Puppet Master reveals that the whole reason he's able to do this is he found some radioactive clay, which he uses to make the puppets.
Yeah.
And then they have to obey him. So he makes one of Ben and forces him to come inside the Puppet Master's house.
Yep. Sue follows him invisibly.
Right. But apparently, since Alicia is blind, she's basically Daredevil because she says she can sense
someone
Sue's
else's
heartbeat. Which... That's bullshit. I'm sorry.
That surprised me. I was like,
yeah,
okay. I thought she was a normal person, but I guess not.
Yeah, she's not Daredevil.
No.
There's no way she could hear her heartbeat.
And so Puppet Master...
Maybe hear the breathing. Maybe I can get behind that.
So Puppet Master is like, it must be the Invisible Woman, so he gives himself, his daughter, and Ben gas mask, and he floods the room with gas and knocks out Sue.
Here's one thing. Was Sue just standing there while they were all putting on gas masks? Fucking do something.
Do something. Right.
So Puppet Master then makes a disguise, basically a Susan Storm cosplay for Alicia.
Her and Ben go back to the Fantastic Tower.
The Baxter Building.
Yeah.
You keep forgetting what it's called. You forgot last week, too.
I'm going to keep on calling it the Fantastic Tower.
So, it's at this point that Alicia's kind of like, he seems so strong and powerful, yet gentle at the same time. She kind of starts getting a bit of a crush on him.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Puppet Master then makes a puppet steal the prison key ring It's cut to a prison. It's like the warden's attendee, I think is what they said.
I think so.
So he steals a K-ring, and we come back to Reed's lab.
Woo!
Ben and Alicia arrive, and Ben just starts fucking attacking everyone again.
Yeah.
But this time it's because he's under the influence of the Puppet Master.
Yeah. And then, so Reed and Johnny try to stop him. Mm-hmm. And then they splash. Is this when they splash the chemical on him?
Reed lures him into the chemical.
Yeah, Reed lures him into a chemical that he was working on before when they wouldn't let Ben in the first place. And it's like a serum thing to help Ben turn back into an actual person.
Right. So it does do that, and that releases him from the trance.
Yeah. And then Alicia, I guess, is also like, where
She's
am
there.
I?
Yeah.
For some reason, even though, I thought she knew where she was going in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, but she's blind.
Yeah, but still.
I don't know if she knew where they were going. I think she just knew to go with Ben.
Okay.
So, so Reed explains that the reason he didn't want Ben in the lab was because he didn't want it to fail and then have Ben be disappointed.
Yeah. He said too much failure in his life.
Right.
He didn't want this to also be a fail, basically.
The serum doesn't last very long. He turns back to the thing.
Yeah.
And Alicia's like, I like you better that way anyway. So, at this point, the Puppet Master uses the Warden's attendee puppet to engineer the jailbreak.
Yeah.
So Sue wakes up and tries to escape from the Puppet Master, but it does not work. So she sends up the flare. The Fantastic Four come over there. Here's where I'm a little bit confused here, is because Alicia lives there. Ben had just been there, and Ben seems to remember what happened. Mm-hmm. They could have just asked him what happened, because they're looking for Sue, and Ben knows that Sue is with the Puppet Master.
Yeah.
So why don't they just tell them?
I think it was more of like a thing. It was like he remembered what happened when he got there, type of things. It was like a shock in his brain.
Maybe.
Made him remember something.
Anyway, they get there and they fight a giant robot.
Yep.
And then they manage to rescue Sue, but the Puppet Master gets away on a giant jet-powered Pegasus.
Johnny tries to go after him, but apparently the Pegasus is too fast.
Too fast because of the jet power, the jet stuff. So the Fantastic Four go to the prison where the Warden has been captured by the prisoners.
Yep.
Torch flies in, he rescues the Warden, and the others take care of the prisoners.
Yeah.
So Ben captures some of them, and then Reed, the prisoners shoot at Reed.
But because he's rubber, they just go in and bounce back.
He almost kills these guys. Like, they all ducked, so none died, but he just snapped those things back at them.
It's not like, let's say, like, if you're rubber, something got launched at you, it's not like you force it yourself to snap it back.
Yeah, I don't know. At least, like, make an effort to, like, turn another direction so it doesn't try to kill them.
It'll obviously snap back. So,
the prisoners all get rounded up. All is well. Puppet Master's like, I'm gonna rule the world! And he had a puppet of himself as a king. What does that do?
That's what confused me. Like, just because you have yourself as a puppet dressed as a king doesn't make yourself rule. That's not how that
What was
work.
his plan? Put it in, like, the White House and then just walk in there? Like, that's not gonna do anything!
Not gonna do absolutely anything.
So, Alicia steals the Puppet Master puppet. Mm-hmm. He tries to grab it, but he falls out a window, seemingly dying. I liked this better the first time I read it. It's not great.
It's really not. Like, Puppet Master is honestly an awful villain.
Yeah, but also, I am giving it a little bit of a push-up for the first appearance of a significant villain.
Let's see, what did I give this?
I gave it 3.
Okay. I gave it a 2.
Okay. I can see where you're coming from there.
Yeah.
On to the next one. Tales to Astonish number 37, Trapped by the Protector. This is again another Ant-Man story.
Another Ant-Man.
It starts with Hank picking up word of trouble from his network of ants.
Yep.
And so he shoots himself over to a jewelry store.
Yeah.
The owner there is like, I'm glad you're here. I just got beat up by some guy named the Protector. He's basically making people come in and he's going into all the jewelry stores
and making them pay him to protect them from himself.
So, okay. It's not really explained here. It's not said explicitly that it's just from himself. It's said protection money. A lot of times when, like, gangs will do this, they protect you from the other gangs.
But where these jewelry stores are and the way he acts, it definitely makes it seem like he's protecting them from himself.
Right.
That's the way he made it seem.
Yeah. So this particular owner was not able to pay the protection money, and so the Protector disintegrated all of the jewelry.
Yeah.
So Hank goes back to his lab and sets up his ants outside all the jewelry stores in town. 3 days later, he gets a disturbance. Goes check it out. It's the Protector.
Yep.
He confronts him, and he gets his ants to drop a necklace on the ground, which scatters.
Like the pearl, it's like a pearl necklace.
Right.
And like classic cartoon thing. The Protector slips on the pearls.
Yeah.
And falls on the ground.
Right. So Hank takes the battle outside, but then the Protector just steals a water pistol from a passing kid.
Yeah.
And shoots it at Hank.
Hank can't get away, and he's about to go get drained into a sewer when he tells ants to grab it. It was like it was a lollipop stick.
Yeah.
And put it in between the grates, kind of like sideways, so he could grab onto it before he falls through it. It works.
Yep.
But at that point, the Protector had escaped already. So Hank goes back to his lab.
Right. So Hank has a plan to bait the Protector. So he rents a fully stocked jewelry store. That is not a thing.
I don't even know how.
There is no way you can find a fully stocked jewelry store to rent. And even if you could, that is a fuck ton of money.
Yeah. More than I think Hank has.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Right. He's not like Reed famous. He's just like he's just a scientist.
He's just a scientist.
So 3 days later, his jewelry store is attacked. Some of the jewelry is disintegrated, and the Protector says that he wants $300 a week, which doesn't sound like a lot by today's standards, but adjusted for inflation, I looked this up. It's approximately $2,500 per week.
Okay.
So if this were today, it would be about 20. I think it was like 2,500 and 360 something. So Pym presses a button when the Protector arrives, like kind of under his desk, and it released a whole bunch of electronic impulses to the ants, who climbed onto the Protector's boot and basically tracked him. So Hank then finds some machine oil under where the Protector was standing, and he goes off for a confrontation. Hank finds the hideout, but he's sucked into a vacuum cleaner.
Protector had been expecting him the entire time, so he set up a trap.
Right.
And his plan was to basically suffocate Ant-Man by gluing the opening of the vacuum bag shut so air couldn't get in or out.
Mm-hmm.
But Ant-Man, even though he's shrunk, still has the strength of a regular human.
Right.
So he just punched his way out of the paper bag.
Ant-Man goes over to this fan, and he turns it on and it blows the vacuum dust in the Protector's face.
Yeah.
So the police show up because the ants had gone to the police station and like arranged a message saying where to go and everything.
If you guys have seen the first Ant-Man movie, it was kind of like when Paul Rudd was in jail and they formed the numbers counting down and stuff. It was kind of like that.
So the police show up, they unmask the Protector. Plot twist, it was the jeweler from the beginning of the issue who got robbed in a mechanical suit who had a staged attack on himself to try to remove the blame from him.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of these are just turning into a Scooby-Doo comic.
Absolutely is, man. It's especially Ant-Man. I don't know what it is, but that seems to be where the twists are mainly happening.
It's Scooby-Doo with superhero.
Yeah. Also, we should mention the disintegration gun was not actually a disintegration gun. It's revealed that it was just a smoke gun. Allowed him to steal the jewels, and he dropped some sand in the place to make it look like they had been disintegrated.
Okay.
That doesn't work though, because
how would that work?
Clearly, like, even if he was able to steal the jewels, fine, but the glass cases were also, like, disintegrated, and there was no trace of those things, so that doesn't really work. So, this is another one of those ones where I was like, I didn't hate it too much until the end.
Yeah.
And the ending was really bad, and I gave it 1 star.
1 star as well for me.
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, it's just...
I'm telling you, man, you keep saying that you kind of like Ant-Man, but it's not. I don't like it at all.
I don't know. I like the beginning ones.
Yeah.
These ones, this week's Ant-Mans are trash.
All right. Next up, Strange Tales 103.
Prisoner of the Fifth Dimension.
This is, again, another Human Torch one.
This is the third one, isn't it?
This is the third one this week. I'm going to put it out there. This is possibly the worst one of this bunch for me.
Yeah. Definitely the worst.
Yeah. So the story opens, and there's a whole lot of houses that are sinking into the ground in this swamp. Which is strange, because the ground is packed full of, like, hard soil.
Yeah. Torch made sure by digging into the ground.
Right.
Himself.
So this old dude keeps going up, and he's like, it's the swamp demons! You guys can't build here! Get out of here! I'm a crazy old dude!
When he first started talking about, like, swamp demons, I thought Swamp Thing from DC was gonna come out from somewhere.
I mean... Marvel has Man-Thing, which is pretty similar.
Yeah, but it's not a Swamp Thing.
Yeah. So Torch, again, as Sebastian said, goes to investigate. There's no natural causes for what's happening. So he hides out there at night, and he sees the old man with some, like, green aliens. They look like stereotypical aliens.
I thought they were Skrulls at first, honestly, when I first saw it. They do
kind of look like it a little bit.
From the back, from the way they were drawn, I thought they were Skrulls. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, they're back.
They're not Skrulls.
They are not Skrulls, no.
So it's revealed here that the aliens are shooting like a ray gun at the ground that makes it so soft that the houses just sink into it.
Yeah.
So some of the aliens disappear, and the old dude is just kind of chilling there. So Torch goes up to him, and he's like, yo, man, what's going on? Guy pulls off the face mask, Mission Impossible style.
And he's just another one of those green aliens.
Yep.
He shoots a gun that puts out the Torch's flame, and then the Torch starts, like, disappearing.
Yeah.
And he goes to that alien's dimension.
Which is called the fifth dimension.
Which is called the fifth dimension, yeah.
So the leader of this fifth dimension, his name is Zemu, not to be confused with Zemo, the Captain America villain.
Very, very different.
Yeah. He is like, I want to take over the Earth, basically.
Yeah.
And so he puts Johnny in this, like, scuba diving kind of gear, and then drops him into a tank of, like, liquid chemical substance.
I thought it was water.
It looks like water. It says chemical substance. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't really matter because it still keeps his flame out.
Yeah.
And they chain him to a wall. But it's then revealed that a lot of the aliens don't like Zemu, and they want to revolt. So they come and they bust Johnny out.
Yeah.
And so they explain to him that they don't have the strength for a revolt. And so they're like, Torch, come on, help us out here. So Torch goes over to their weapons depot, and he finds all his alien pals after taking... He goes to the weapons depot and he takes it out.
Takes out their weapons,
right? So
he could help them so they could revolt, basically.
Right. So he goes out and he finds his alien friends pulled up to a giant magnet.
Yep.
I would go into the magnet spiel,
but this is aliens, so who
knows? Maybe they're magnetic.
Yeah, who knows how they work?
So Zemu was like, "I'm gonna kill them." He puts them up to like a firing squad.
Yeah.
But then Johnny makes a smoke screen. And he helps them escape.
Yep.
And then they run into a whole bunch of tanks. And Torch makes another tornado like he did way back in Fantastic Four #4. And he takes them all out.
Takes all the tanks out.
Again, not a fire tornado, which you would think it would be.
Which you think it would be. No, it's just a regular tornado.
So then the Human Torch makes a message in the sky, and he's like, rise up.
Rise up and revolt against Zemu. And he imprisons Zemu. So Zemu tries to escape.
Mm-hmm.
And Torch, like, zooms around him and controls fire into to form, like, a cage around Zemu, and he traps Zemu in that cage of fire.
Yep. And then the alien girl that helped bust him out is like, don't go, Johnny, I love you. Stay with me here, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I'm gonna go back to my own world.
He goes back. That's the end of that.
This one sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it. It's boring.
Boring.
It's pointless. 1 star. For me.
Doo-doo.
Yeah. At least it was quick, but damn, man, this is just no fun that one was no fun to read.
No fun at all. It was...
Alright, into the last one for this round. Fantastic Four number 9, called The End of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, this one, for me, had a stupid premise.
See, I didn't hate the premise, and I was feeling really good about it until one point at the end, where I got a little bit, I was like, that's not, no. So anyway, basically, beginning of the story, Namor is seeing a news broadcast, and it's basically that the Fantastic Four have gone bankrupt.
And they are breaking up.
So the reason they are bankrupt is because Reed used literally all of their money to buy stocks, and then the stock market fell, and he just lost all of it. They're not selling me that he is a smart person right now. That is so dumb.
Yeah, you think with him being a scientist, like one of the smartest people on the earth, he'd know not to use every single bit of their money.
Yeah.
He's not. In this instance, he is not the smartest person.
Yeah, absolutely. So their plan is to sell all of their equipment so they can make the money back and pay the debt collectors.
Even though Thing doesn't. Even though
he flips out. Ben flips out
because he sees these dudes taking apart their rocket.
The pogo plane is what it's called.
Pogo plane.
Yep.
All right. It's a freaking missile rocket thing.
Yeah. So Ben basically is like, okay, I'm quitting the Fantastic Four again. And he tries to get a taxi, but they're like, no, you're in debt. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, taxi driver's like, Yeah, you're broke. I saw the news. I'm not taking you anywhere.
So he just like destroys the taxi.
So he flips out and stakes it on a freaking lamppost.
Great idea, Ben. You're already in debt. Now you're gonna incur the cost of this taxi now.
And so he shoots his flare gun into space, and the fantastic car comes and picks him up.
It's just Johnny. Johnny's portion comes in.
Is it just Johnny? From the
Johnny.
way they drew it, I thought it was the entire thing.
It maybe it's the entire car, but it's only Johnny in the car.
It's only Johnny in the car, yes.
So they drop him off at Alicia's. Right now, she's just his friend, is what it's described as.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have kind of a heart-to-heart, and he's like, okay, I'll go back to the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So they've been offered $1 million to star in a movie.
Yep.
But they don't have enough money, so they have to hitchhike to Hollywood.
Yeah, they hitchhiked to Hollywood.
That was a pretty funny little...
that was enjoyable. Like one of them was embarrassed, and they're like, "Imagine the stories we could tell later on, though."
Right, and Ben is kind of like hiding in the trees, as they think the cars will be scared of him and not hit them up. So they go to the producer's office of the movie,
and turns out the producer is Namor. It's the Submariner.
It's the Submariner. He's back. I think this is his third appearance. In 10 issues. 9 issues, actually. This is issue number 9.
9 issues. He's in a third of these issues, Arden.
Yep, so far.
That's quick maths right there.
Yeah, there you go. So Namor's the producer, but his offer appears to be genuine. Like, he gives them an advance on some money. He's like, I just want you to film this movie.
And the reason he has so much money is because he has all the money from the ocean, like the treasure chest, like all the gold and stuff that from crash ships and stuff like that. That's how he has all this money. We should say.
Yeah. So first thing Johnny does is buy a car. They don't pay off their debts. They just Johnny buys a car. Ben goes to a beach, and then Sue goes on a dinner date with Namor.
Yep.
Like
instant great use of their money.
Yeah, so they start filming at this place called Hidden Island, and this is Reed's section of the movie.
This is Reed's part of the movie.
So Reed is like, "Where's the script?" And Namor's like, "There is no script. I just want you to fight this mechanical Cyclops.
Yeah,
it'll be super easy." They go there. It's actually a trap. It's a real Cyclops.
It's a real Cyclops, and anybody that enters the island gets trapped there for all eternity by the Cyclops.
Right.
He doesn't let anybody leave, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so Reed figured this out. Cyclops is like, "Yeah, Namor told me to keep you here as a prisoner," but he's like, "I have no use for prisoners," so he tries to squash him with this giant boulder.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Fantastic being all rubber, he just makes himself really flat, and the boulder does nothing.
So they fight for a little while. Eventually, Reed uses his body as a trip line and just kind of trips the Cyclops into this pit.
Yep.
Probably killing him, but oh well.
Who knows? The Cyclops himself said he was undying. I think he did say or some shit.
Yeah, maybe. At this point, Johnny is over in Africa, where Namor makes him fight this African tribe.
Yeah.
Who apparently they have a potion that makes them immune to fire.
Immune to fire.
So they do a fight.
Johnny loses his flame, gets captured by them.
He's able to bust out of his cage, and then he creates like a whole bunch of flaming images of himself.
Yep.
Confuses the tribe.
And he flies off.
Right. Before leaving entirely, he makes this volcano erupt, and the lava flow like destroys all their potions. Somehow all the actual people get out. That probably wouldn't happen, but I guess they didn't want Johnny to be a murderer.
Yeah.
So, cut to Namor and Ben. They're like having a romantic walk along the beach.
Yeah.
And then Namor is like, "It's time to film our fight scene." And so Namor just like attacks Ben.
He straight up just punches Ben right in the face. Ben goes flying into the water, and then Ben is like really confused as to why Namor has such strength, and then he realizes it's because of the water.
Yeah, they're in the ocean.
So Ben basically like forces Namor out of the water, I guess, and they start fighting on land, and Namor like, calls him. He's like, "Wow, you can't find me on my own turf," or whatever, or something like that.
I would have been like, "Yeah, you're right. That's why I pulled you out."
Just freaking dumb.
Right.
But I guess I kind of forget. Oh,
yeah, Ben gets hit by lightning is what happens next.
Yeah.
And it changes him back to his human form.
So Namor just punches him in the face and he gets knocked out.
Namor is somehow not able to see that Ben has switched back into Ben.
Really?
It says, because of the dark, Namor can't tell that the thing was now Ben. But even then, even if it was dark enough, which it didn't look like it was, but even if it was, like, he gets significantly smaller when that happens. You would notice something is up. So anyway.
Whatever. Then it cuts to Sue.
Right. Namor goes back to Sue, and he asks her to marry him. right after he brags about defeating the Fantastic Four. Sue, for some reasons, I mean, she says no, but she's like, if you hadn't beat all of us up, then I maybe would have said something different.
I'm so lost between her relationship with Reed.
Yeah, I am.
At this point,
I am too. Yeah.
Are they married or not?
They're supposedly engaged. They're not. They're not married at this point.
Oh man.
I think they are engaged though, and I don't know.
Bro, she's quick to dump him.
Yeah. So she turns
crap.
invisible and she fights Namor. He uses more fish powers. Like he turns into Electric Eel again.
Yeah.
He also
he's like supervision.
Yeah. Well, he's also like taking on the role of Daredevil because he turns into like a cave fish and uses like echolocation to find Sue
after she became invisible.
He even describes it as a radar sense. That is what Daredevil. That's what his powers are. He finds Sue using that, and he's about to take her back to the ocean. He's about to kidnap her.
Yeah, again.
And then the others arrive, and Ben is back to the thing.
Yes, we might add.
So they're about to fight, but Sue is like, no, just let him go. And Namor is like, okay, I'll still pay you guys, and I'll produce the movie. And he just runs off into the ocean. And then this is why I have a problem with this issue. Namor has just pretty much tried to kidnap Sue.
Yeah.
Sue is like, no, it's okay, he did it all for love. Come on. Like, this is completely destroying her character, because that's
anything with Namor in it becomes a love story between him and Sue. It's always between him and Sue loving each other, but then never being able to be together.
Well, here's the problem, though. He was just trying to, he was trying to forcibly take her back to the ocean.
Yeah.
Why is she just like, it's okay, he did it for love? That's not,
no.
Like, it completely destroys all of her character, because it's just I don't understand. It's no good there. So the Fantastic Four get their money and all is okay.
All is okay.
I almost put this at 4, except for that last bit with Sue. I couldn't go past that, so I had to drop it to 3.
I gave it a 3.
Yeah,
I gave it a 3.
It was mostly fun to read, and it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad. It was just for me, the beginning part with Ben was just God. He's really growing on me.
He's growing on you?
He's not.
Okay,
like, he's growing on me in a bad way. Like,
yeah. That's the end of this episode. There was not a lot of good stuff in here.
Not a lot of good stuff. Pretty short episode compared to the other ones.
Yeah. What are we at?
We're at
hour and 15. Holy shit. Yeah, that's a lot shorter. And I'll probably cut out like 15 minutes of that in editing. Yeah, so next week it's pretty much more of the same.
Crap, dude, that's not.
I will say the only difference is there's only one full length comic. There's only one Fantastic Four comic. The rest are like 10 to 13 pages.
So it's going to be another short episode.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. Again, I want to make sure you are all aware. If you want to read along with us. You can go to cmro.travisstarnes.com. I believe that's the URL.
Yeah, it is.
If you don't know where to find it, I have linked it on our website page. Which, if you're listening to this, that's where you're listening to it. It's on the homepage, so just go into that upper tab thing, and you can go to the homepage, and it's just right there for you to see it. Next week we'll be doing 31 through 40. Yeah, so that's about where we're at. I think that's everything.
That is.
If you are listening to this and you haven't listened to any of those, you can feel free to do that. I think by the time this goes up, we will have probably about 5 or so hours of stuff on there.
Yeah, at this point, yeah. No.
Yeah. So if you want to listen to that, you can go ahead and do that. Thank you everybody for listening again.
Yeah.
If you like the show, tell a friend or something.
Get it out there.
Yeah, for sure. We at this point we just kind of
we're just doing this for fun.
We're doing it for fun, but also it's very helpful to have an audience, so we're not just two weirdos talking in a room to ourselves about this for 2 hours each week. So we'd appreciate that if you got that out there, and just that's about it. Thanks again for listening. Everybody have a great week, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.